Hey guys, in this video I'm going to give you an introduction to JavaScript. Now JavaScript is a programming language that allows us to create web page with interactive user interface. So in this video I'm going to give you an introduction to JavaScript and how to get started with JavaScript. So now the first thing that you need to get started with JavaScript, you need an IDE and you also need Node.js. So the reason why you need Node.js is because I'm going to be running the code in the console. So I highly recommend that you get VS Code. This is my favorite one, but you can also use PyCharm or any other IDE. Now to get Node.js, you need to go to Google and type Node.js, and then this is right here. Node.js run JavaScript everywhere, and then you need to install the latest version. You can click on here. It's gonna download it, but I'm not gonna do that because I already got it installed. So after you got it installed, now you can create a folder. I create my folder and I call it JS app. And then you can go to VS Code and open the folder. So let's go to VS Code. You just need to open the folder now. Go to the desktop, JS app. Here we go. So now we can check if Node.js is installed by checking the version node-v. So I got the 18.16.0 version. So now I will assume that everything was fine with you. Let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that you need to know about JavaScript is the type of data we have. There is number, string, boolean, null, undefined, symbol, and all those other data type here. But most of the data type that you will come across will be number, string, boolean, null, undefined, and object. But it's important that you know that also those other type of data also exist. So now let's go ahead and move forward. So the first keyword I want to show you with JavaScript is the console.log keyword. This keyword allows us to print data into the console. So we can put console.log hello world, and to run it using Node.js, we just type node and the name of the app that we just created, the name of the JavaScript file app.js, and boom, voila, hello world. So now the next keyword I want to show you is type of. It allows us to know what type of data that we have. So let's go and first define a variable. In JavaScript, to define a variable, you can use let, you can use var, and you can use const. So it depends on you. But mostly use const when you know that the data won't change, and use let when you will change the data. So you don't need to know about this for now, but just know that this is how you do when you want to define a variable. So let's define a variable called, let's call it num. We're gonna create an array of number one, two, three, and then four. And we can check. First, let's print that to the console. Console dialog num, display the array of number, and we can also check the type of this data type. Make sure I didn't make any mistake here. Okay, it's type of this data type is an object. So now let's create a different, let's call it stir, and this time let's type hello and console.log. Just type there. So this is a string. So now you get the picture of that. So now let's move forward and define another data type. This time we're going to define an object. So let's call a cons person. Now to define an object, after the equal sign, we define set of curly braces and we define the key. We have the person name and you can put your name separated by a comma, the age. And put 30. That's not my age, but I put 30. Now we can display there in the console.log person. So it display everything. All right. So now we can also loop through the object. So I will show you how you can loop through an object. So there are different ways you can do it, but I'm going to use something that I'm more comfortable with. So we're going to use for const key, because we want to loop through the keys and the value of object the entries. Then we need to pass the name of the object and a set of curly braces. Then we can console the log. We can type the key and the value and see the display. So it display the name and display the age. Now you can use what we call template letter. It allows us to insert variable inside a string. So we can do that by using backticks and then dollar sign, curly braces, the name of the variable, key, dollar sign, curly braces, value. And we also display the same thing, age and name. So now let's go on and move forward. I've given an introduction now to function. So in function, you can define a function using the function keyword or the arrow function. So first let's start with the function keyword. So you use function, the name of the function. I will call it function, let's say user, and then equal, and a set of parentheses, an arrow sign. Actually, you don't have to do that. I was confused with the arrow function. So function, then a set of parentheses, then a set of curly braces. So this is how you define a function. So now inside the function, we can return something or we can print something to the console. So first, let's just print something. So we can console.log. Let's call it Yannick, my name. And then to call the function, we just call user. and we display my name, Yannick. So now let's take it a step a little further. Let's actually pass a variable called name, and now console.log using a template little hello, and then $, curly braces, name. Now when we call the function, we need to pass the name. So it can be any name that you want. This time pass Tom, and we display hello Tom. So we go. That's JavaScript. Is very, very interesting. So now let me give you an introduction now to JavaScript method and object. So what if we want to calculate, for instance, a sum of an array? Let's call an array, let's define array const. Actually, let's not worry about that for now. So we can use a function that allow us, we can create a function that allow us now to calculate the sum of an array. So the different method that we can use to calculate that, we can use the map keyword, we can use the for each, we can use the reduce. All these keywords allow us to calculate the sum of an array. So let's go ahead and get started. So we can use the function keyword. The name of the function is going to be called add num. And then we're going to pass the array here. And inside of here now, to calculate the sum, we're going to do array dot. For this example, I will use the for each because it's a lot more simple. For each, then we can call num. So for each number inside of the array, we want, let's also define another variable called sum. And this time we're going to use let because we're going to change the value of sum as we call it. So for each num, we want sum plus equal num. So we want to add each num with the sum. And then we can call it here console.log sum. So now add num, and then we can pass the array that we want. 1, 2, 3, 4. 10. So 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 9 is actually 10. So now if you feel like it's a little bit overwhelming and it's too fast, you can pause the video and try to do it again. So now for the next example, I'm gonna give you an example with the filter. We're gonna try to calculate, we're gonna try to display all the even number in an array. So we can use also do the same thing. Function even and pass the array, and then we're gonna do array. Actually in this one we're gonna return something. So return array the filter. So we want to filter the number, and we want the number modulus 2 0. So this is how we filter the even number. So now because we use the return, when we call the function, we need to use console so that it can be printed into the terminal. So console.log even, and then we can pass the array here. Just 1, 2, 3, 4. It's supposed to display now 2 and 4. So here we go, 2 and 4. Now you can do the same thing also with map. Let's do the same thing with map function. This time let's just do, okay, let's just do the same thing. Function map at number. Let's pass again an array. And then we can return here. Actually, let's not worry about return. Array.map num. And then we can also do the sum here. By default sum. And sum plus equal num. And then we can console.log num. So actually sum. Then we can pass now add num, and we can pass the array. This one, let's give something else. 10, 9, 7. And then here we go, 34. So now let's use the reduce method. We can also do that with the same here. We comment that out. So function add num, pass the array, and then here we can return array.reduce. We need to pass two variable total. This is the accumulator, and then num, and then we're going to total plus num, and initialize num to be 0. So now we can call that function here, console.log add num, and then we can pass the array here 8, 10, 5, 23. So this is the accumulator. If we store the value of each sum at the first iteration, it's going to do 8 plus 0, that's 8. The total will be 8. Then you go to 10, you're going to add 8 plus 10. The total now is 18. 18 plus 5, 23. So now let me give you an example where we can combine two methods. Let's call function combine. Let's call it array here. You can return array.filter. So now let's change it a little bit. Filter num. So we want the num that are greater than 10. After we get those number that are greater than 10, we want to calculate the sum of only those numbers. So we could call total num and total plus num 0. So now we need to define the here console dialog combine, and we can pass 5, 8, 15, 21. Supposed to calculate the sum of only 15 and 20 because they are the ones that are greater than 10. Return and define y. Make sure area filter. I'm trying to figure out why it's there. Combine. Okay, I see. 35. So this was an introduction to JavaScript. Now in the future, I will actually write a small program, for instance, a task application or a movie application to take this tutorial a little bit further. So thanks for watching.